What's up, everybody? Tim Anderson here, aka Renfill. Welcome back to the latest episode of The Bad Batch, which is one of the many Star Wars shows that I watch and review here on my channel. It is episode 4 today, titled Faster. And while the first 3 episodes, in my mind, were peak, kind of like Clone Wars Bad Batch, art style, storytelling, so on and so forth. This one stuttered a little bit because it's what I call a filler episode, and that it didn't advance the main storyline. It's still fun, still good to watch. We're gonna dive into the review today, but before we do, as always, this is not spoiler free. So if you haven't watched it yet, go away. Come back later after you've seen the episode. Or if you don't care, then we're good to go. Either way, if you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, support with a super thanks or a membership. We'll talk more at the end about other ways, but in the meantime, let's dive into my show notes and get into this one, which again, this will be a shorter episode because I didn't have a lot to review in this one because again, it was a filler episode, so there's not a lot of story to dive into. The essence is we're back on the planet with Sid's character, and we've got a Cantina Hollow game going on between Omega and Wrecker. As Echo and Rambo, as I call him, Hunter, are out there delivering Nerf nuggets on a mission. So it's Omega, Wrecker, Tech, and they're here with Sid, and she's wanting to take them with her on some sort of delivery mission or something. I don't know. She doesn't tell them what the specifics are, just that she needs muscle. And I love how many of these episodes open with these great planet shots of a ship coming in, because I've mentioned this before. It never gets old for me, like visually, to see that kind of stuff. Like I remember being a kid and like the Millennium Falcon coming into land on planets was one of the coolest things ever. And when they did more of those shots in the special editions, I was on board for that completely. And that one shot in Empire Strikes Back when they're coming out of Cloud City and they do the whole ups, they flip around and come back, and then you see the afterburners kick in for the Millennium Falcon, and then there's like blue streaks in the sky, and I'm a sucker for ship stuff. Anyway, they get to this planet, and we're watching some sort of. My initial reaction, it sounded like pod racing, but apparently it's something called riot racing, which apparently they've invented for the show, which is like pod racing, but it's single pod speeders, and you can shoot at your enemies, or not your enemies. Well, I guess they're your enemies, but you can shoot at the other participants. Sounds like it's the same announcer voice from the Phantom Menace, which is kind of interesting. The two-headed dude. Anyway, turns out that the lady's here because she's got money on one of the drivers, and it turns out her money is on a droid, an arrogant droid called Teo, who is kind of funny, but this is mostly for the kids. He's always going on about how behold and be amazed because Teo is an artist. So it's kind of fun. We obviously have the Sebulba character here in the sense that we have this other race driver who works for this guy called Malegi, who operates like a mob boss apparently, and I guess him and Sidarin have a history because he's like, it's been a long time since I've seen you around Sofatoma. He sizes up the clone, threatens a little bit, but ultimately just wants to make a wager, like old times. So Sid agrees, and they're watching the race unfold. I like the quirkiness they've given Wrecker here because he went out and got snacks, and so he's like just chewing on this like kebab the whole time. And ultimately, Jet Venom, who is the Sebulba character, wins because he cheats. And Malegi wins the bet, and Pantha Poodoo. And Sid's like, I didn't bring you guys for your company, help me. And the clones are getting ready to defend her, but Omega steps in and says, we're not done yet. If we win, we pay you double. Excuse me, if you win, we pay you double. If we win, we get Sid. And accepts, takes Sid off as collateral, and Tech makes a note of the fact that Sid is continually getting them in problems with less than savory characters. Meanwhile, Teo gets crushed. He can't be repaired, so Tech has to step in. He's been studying. He wins the race, of course. I'm not going to bore you with the races. Honestly, this whole race sequence and race episode was kind of meh to me. It's a filler episode, while Hunter and Echo are out of the equation, off doing something. But I think it does advance the story somewhat, and I'll tell you in what ways here. One of which is that as we get to the end of the episode, Malegi is a man of his word, but on their way out, he gives them a warning that Sid is a dangerous character and can't be trusted. And this comes back to what Tech had been noting about how doesn't it seem like Sid's always getting us into trouble with these unsavory characters? So if I had to guess, at some point during this season, they're gonna have some sort of a confrontation with Sid. She's gonna get pulled back into the old life. Something's gonna happen. She's gonna get in between a rock and a hard place with creditors or something. She'll have to take on a bad job. It'll get the clones in trouble. I think that that's something that will happen. I predict. However, I also predict that the reason they've got Hunter and Echo off screen this episode is because they're out gathering intel for something, which if it doesn't show up in the next episode, it might be the episode after that. They're going to come back and they're going to have intel that they're going to need to act on, and that's going to be the next episode. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. I mean, I don't see a bad thing with filler episodes when you're doing, how many episodes are they doing? 18, 20 episodes across this season. I'm going to look this up real quick. Bad Batch Season 2. I feel like it's quite a few episodes. I'm keeping you guys here while I do the R&D here. Why not? Does it tell me anywhere? There's going to be 16 episodes. So I was a little overestimating. It's not 18, it's 16. But still, they've got plenty of room to work with. So it's okay to do a couple filler episodes here and there, as long as we are overall advancing the main storyline, which hopefully we are. In any case, I would give this episode only like a 6 out of 10 for me. I've given the other 3 10 out of 10 because I thought they were amazing. But this one, yeah, 6 out of 10. I don't like filler episodes. I really don't. And the whole race sequence for me was boring. So I give it credit where I always do because it's great animation and I love the characters and everyone's obviously firing on all cylinders in terms of the work they're doing, creating a show like this. But it just wasn't a great episode for me personally. That's not to say it won't be a great episode for others. I'm sure there are kids out there that are going to absolutely love the fact that they've got um, a pod racing episode for them. But it just wasn't for me. In any case, still happy with it. Loving the show. Hopefully you like it as well. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Follow along as we continue to do other things. Drop a super thanks on this video or join as a member. 3 different tiers on here on YouTube. We have a Patreon page, a Discord channel. Check all the links below, and I'll see everybody in the next episode. May the Force be with you. Until next time, everybody.